here on Prime Morning. It's time for us to get into News Flash, and that was Scrambling Stat. That conversation will be coming up here on this very channel. So do well to also be a part of that conversation and making sure we make our education system a better one for all, and not just the individuals. Now, speaking of that, the government has reversed a pre-examination school selection for the BEC candidates, and the Minister of Education has reinstated the practice of school selection before the Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE, with the 2025 exercise officially commencing on Tuesday, that was yesterday, and set to end on Friday, June 6, 2025.
The high school, the awards will attend after the completion of their basic education. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also important to note that no head of school or teacher is permitted to fill out the school selection form of any candidate without the consent of the parent or guardian. The school selection form must be signed off by the parent or guardian and submitted to the head teacher of the junior high school that the candidate attends. To parents and guardians, we expect you to keep a copy of the school selection form. Ladies and gentlemen, the school selection exercise has seen several modifications over the years, and one of the major reforms is to allow candidates to select Category C schools that have similar facilities like Category A and B schools, which are overly subscribed, as we all know. It is important to select Category C schools in order to ease the pressure on the overly subscribed Category A and B schools. It is worth noting that some Category C schools have indeed equally produced good senior high school graduates that are currently contributing.
All right, so that's the Education Ministry speaking on that issue over there. Students are not permitted to choose more than one Category A school or more than two from Category B, though they may select all the from Category C if necessary. BEC is expected to commence on 9th of June to the 16th of June 2025. And that we're going to follow and bring you some more updates on that. But this morning we're here. We've got two major things to talk about. The containers at the port by the Energy Minister. We'll be looking at that, and also Wontumi's arrest yesterday and the following reports that have come. Now we are still looking for the hospital that he was sent to by the EOCO officials, the lawyer, the brother, and some NDC and NPP officials yesterday. As at 12 midnight, we're still combing around hospitals here in Ghana looking for the regional chairman, the Ashanti regional chairman of the NPP, Chairman Wontumi. We'll be looking at that conversation also here on the show. You can send your messages ahead of time. You can do so on WhatsApp, and also you can do so on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook. Don't forget, News Flash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, phones, Papa Pafia. We're grateful to them this morning for making sure that we get to have this conversation. Don't forget that you can walk into any of our branch and make yourself a purchase if you're looking for phones, televisions, microwave, refrigerators, air conditionings. If you also want to buy some CCTV cameras, Franco Trading Enterprise is the place to go. Don't forget that you can call us on the numbers that you see on the screens, and also download the app. It's the Franco Trading app on a Google Play Store. Better yet, you can also visit our website. It's www.francotrading.com, and you can get all the updates that you need in terms of what to buy, how much you're going to buy, and sometimes you can also make some inquiries by just going on our website as well. So yes, walk into it, our offices, our branches, and make a purchase. Franco Trading Enterprise says, still, phones, Papa Pie for your News Flash is brought to you by the kindest courtesy of Franco Trading Enterprise. So this morning I've been joined by my guests in the studio. I'm going to introduce them quickly, and then we'll move on to the newspapers to check what has been reported, and then we'll get into the major conversations. And Joining me this morning in the studio, Richard Suma is here, and he's a leading member for the Movement for Change, and he's always here with us as a family. Rich, very good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, KMJ. You're looking great, man.
Thank you for trying, man. You're not looking bad yourself.
No, myself, there is one retired judge who has passed on, so this morning we are having the pre-burial service at the Rich Church in Accra. So Alan will be representing, so we are going there with him this morning.
Condolences to the entire family. And how's Alan, though? He's fine.
Oh, Alan is fine. We will be addressing the country pretty shortly as to the way forward and how we want to build a Ghana that everybody will be proud of.
Awesome. And thanks for the time. I'm grateful this morning. Now, also joining us this morning is Casper Kampoli. He's National Communication Team member for the NDC. Good to see you, my brother.
Good to see you. Yes. It's good to be back.
Yes.
It's always a delight to be here. Yeah.
I like your outfit, too.
Thank you.
Very fully representing the North.
Thank you.
Yes, awesome. I like it. All right, and we go to the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning. It says, 2 years after EVAT, GR is slow to sign on businesses, low compliance amid revenue leakage. That's captured on the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning. We got Anthony Kwesi Sapon, the Commissioner General for GRE, captured over there. Now, Graphic Ecobank Ghana Economic Forum today, and page 13 has got a story on that. Away from that, Ministry launches new SHS selection guidelines. Page 13 has got a story we played for you a couple of minutes ago, and so if you're a parent, you can follow that conversation and see what you can do for your ward as well. Now, Mahama praises Margins ID group, and page 20 has got a story on that. You can read about it. The back page, Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C. reopens tomorrow. Ministry of Foreign Affairs says so. And RegSec storms Sakumono Ramsar site to remove illegal structures. And yesterday saw videos that have come through and people who are wailing as their houses been demolished by the authorities. And, well, I'm sure in the coming days it's going to be a conversation that a lot of us will be interested in. But let's move on. The Daily Justice here, and it says jobs for the boys at GRA. Mahama appoints 5 technical advisors, and NIB arrests Wontumi. That's a story you can read on that. Page 3 has got a story on that as well. Chief Justice tortured, phones, laptops seized, family barred at probe hearing, and that's also on the front page of the Daily Justice. Minority demands answers over ECG missing containers, and the Sitting Ketua boys sidelined over 2028 presidential ambitions. And that's the Daily Gist this morning. The Accra Times is here, and it says Bagben cautions MPs do not mistake privileges for impunity. And Ayariga salutes heads of committees, taxes them to submit detailed reports on their recess activities. That's also captured by the Accra Times. And the minority calls on Ghanaians muster courage to challenge constitutional infractions. That also on the front page of the Accra Times. Now, away from that, the Ghanaian publisher, and that's the last one for me, and it says use technology to enforce tax laws. Experts advise government, and KGL boss grabs CEO of the year again. President Mahama endorses Margins ID group, and Dr. Asante pushes for African Energy College. And away from that, Washington Embassy closure, minority slams Ablakwa's infantile decision, and that's page 8. That has got a story when you grab a copy of the Ghanaian publisher today. All right, pretty much that'll be all the newspapers that we've got for you this morning here on News Flash. You can also check them out. Now, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the opposition party, the NPP, Bernard Nchibosiakon, also known as Chairman Wontumi, was arrested and detained by the Yoko and Economic and Organized Crime Office. His arrest was shortly after he had reported himself to the CID department of the police headquarters. Now, lawyer Andy Epia could be announced later in the night about 11 p.m. that his client has been rushed to the hospital. Now, they had also received a writ of summons from Exim Bank, and they will actually mount a defense for that as well, according to the lawyer. According to him, the charges against him involves his relationship with the Exim Bank, and in his own words, he says they preferred some allegations against him. He refuted them. We have not finished with the interrogation. He will come back tomorrow to continue if he gets well. They laid charges on the relationship between himself and Exim Bank. We have also received a writ of summons from Exim Bank and will respond tomorrow. tomorrow. Mr. Apiakubi said when he was interviewed by media men at the front of the Yoko yesterday, last night. All right, so that's our conversation for this morning, and we're taking a look at that. We'll also be joined by Boche, lawyer Boche Jr. Will be joining us this morning. He'll be representing the NPP as and when he's in. We'll introduce him as well. So let me start off with Kampoli. Let me start with you. A lot of comments have come. Yesterday, I listened to that film on PM Express. Okay. He spoke about this very issue and the way the NDC. He admits that the way they are going about the arrest is not something that, but they have been there before. I mean, he believes that there has been precedence and moving towards this direction is not a good one. First of all, before we even get into the merit of it, are we going to continue with this kind of arrest?
KMG, let me say good morning to you. Good morning to my brother Richard. And let me say good morning to our viewers. The style of arrest of Wontumi, KMG, I'm not sure the manner in which he was arrested violates any part of our laws. We are told that he was picked up by Yoko. Yeah. Yoko is a law enforcement agency organization. So
and we believe they were masked men.
It's not about what we believe, it's about what actually happened. And I'm not sure.
But they were masked men, right?
Do you know that for a fact?
Well, I saw pictures of it. Yesterday on Newsnight, it was confirmed that by our reporter that the men who arrested him or accosted him were all masked.
So, I mean, is it illegal for law enforcement body to mask themselves?
The reason being what?
I don't know. But I'm saying that it might be for good reasons that we have sometimes our security officials mask themselves for such operations. So, for me, I'm not sure the kind of, the manner in which he was arrested is unconstitutional. It's a law enforcement agency. They are conducting their investigations on some of the activities that Wontumi has involved in. His company, Akonta Mining, has been involved in over the years. Some of us have the view that these prosecutions or arrests is belated, but it's better late than never that it has taken place because Chairman Wontumi and his Akonta Mining company has been involved in a lot of illegal mining activities. This thing has been going on for about 8 years since Akufo-Addo and Bawumia took over the reins of government. But because Akufo-Addo and Bawumia are people who encourage, advertise, promote, and endorse illegal mining activities, they never did anything about his activities. You had a Catholic Business Conference on the 14th of November 2022 in the East region calling for the prosecution of Akonta Mining because there was a lot of public evidence to suggest that they were engaging in illegal mining activities. In addition to the Public Bishops Conference, we had Ken Ashigwe, the convener for Coalition Against Galamsey, all coming in to say that Akonta Mining is destroying our water bodies. The government should prosecute him. Akufo-Addo and Bawumia never did anything about it. It got to a point that Ken Ashigwe, Martin Pebu, and others had to petition the IGP over this same issue, but nothing happened. So for 8 good years, we had a company that did not have a mining lease, they did not have minerals right, they never had a permit to go into our forest reserves like the Tano Nimere Forest Reserve and others. But for whatever reasons, the government decided to give him the free will, the hand to go into our water bodies and destroy our water bodies. And we all know that Galamsey is destroying our water bodies. So when the NDC took over the reins of government in January, the promise was that we are going to do things differently to reset this country. Anybody who is contributing to the destruction of our water bodies is going to be held to answer 2 questions. And to me, as I said, this is not something that we should have been doing now. It should have taken place long ago. But the inaction of the Akufo-Addo government has brought us to this point that this action had to be taken. So he was arrested. What we are told is that he had access to his lawyer. Apiakubi was there.
It took a while, about 2 hours before.
I mean, you don't know what they are looking for. So he needs to be asked questions. And in the interrogation process, when I listened to Apiakubi, he never said anywhere that he was tortured, he was molested. No. It's a normal prosecution process where they ask questions.
The party never had access to him to ask him questions or even grants the lawyer entry until later when he was...
KMG, when a young man unfortunately goes to sell cassava and is arrested, they don't go to tell his family that you are going to arrest this your son or your brother for engaging in a criminal act. Yoko is a law enforcement agency. If the hard cause that any of us is engaged in any criminal act, they can invite us, they can arrest us. And that is what they did with Wontumi. He was arrested. The law requires that he's having access to a lawyer. He was giving access to his lawyer. The lawyer sat through the interrogation process. And eventually he said, okay, for whatever reasons, we were told that he wasn't well. And I believe that he was just faking illness, because that has been Wontumi's modus operandi. You remember when he had to meet the traditional council of the Ashanti region, he pretended that he was sick. So anytime he is called to answer to his undoings, he fakes sickness. We are not told where the hospital that he is kept at, but Apia Kubi says he knows where he is. So the hospital that he's kept is not in doubt. The lawyer to him knows where the hospital...
well, yesterday he still hasn't found...
No, he said that he knows it, but he will not say it. I watch it.
Because maybe they told him that's where they were taking him. Unfortunately, they went to those hospitals.
Did he come out to say that he doesn't know any longer? He went to the place and it's not there.
He went there. I saw videos of him going to about 3 different hospitals.
Apia Kubi said that. No, he said they told him where they were taking him to. He will not disclose it. All of a sudden, if he comes to tell us that...
So he goes to 37 military hospital, he's not there. He goes to the police hospital, he's not there. He goes to the other one at the cantonment, he's not there as well.
Yes.
And then what?
He should go back to the Yoko.
He went back there.
Then they said,
but as to what they told him when he went back there, I'm not too sure.
Yes, so at every point in time, the officials engaging with me, they are communicating with the lawyer. So this is not a process that is kept incommunicado in terms of Wontumi and his lawyer, no.
Okay.
But the process has to continue, because there's nothing untoward, nothing illegal happening. The right thing has been done, and the fact of the matter is that we have enough evidence that Chairman Wontumi is a contaminant, have engaged in these activities for a very long time.
Okay.
And it's not about the NDC coming to government to arrest him. This is what government should have done long ago. So you have Ken Ashiguen saying that government inaction is not appropriate. Today, government is taking action, and the action must be what? Be commended, because we can't continue to allow people like Wontumi and Co. to be degrading our water bodies.
Okay, I'll come back to you again, Casper. I'll come back to you again. Let me take the thoughts of Richard on the style of arrest.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say good morning to your cherished viewers this morning, to the entire leadership and followers of the Movement for Change, and to the family of Justice Richard, who will be doing his pre-burial service this morning at Ridge Hospital. Once again, you see, we are talking about building a country where posterity will inherit. We're talking about building a country where we will be considered as people who are civilized, people who are mature, people who are intelligent, people who are determined to build their future by taking their destiny into their own hands. And we also live in a country where we cannot entertain lawlessness. We cannot pamper individuals at the whims and caprices of they themselves and their followers. We live in a country where people get drunk with political power and influence. We are in a country where people get to a stage where they become obsessed and believe that there is no tomorrow and there is no accountability. So they do things that tantamount to the development of the entire nation and the generations after us. Now, why am I saying so? First of all, the political culture we are building, it is not something that we can condone. It's not something that we can be proud of. Where if you want to pick somebody, if you want to arrest somebody, when you know the person is not a flight risk individual, you can always access him. There must be ways to, first of all, invite that person if, for instance, the person is in the public space. He has not gone to steal anything. He has not gone to scam anybody. He has not gone to take anybody's money. We say he's destroying state resources or state assets. Therefore, we need him to answer what? Questions. The approach by marshalling security forces to his house to pick him up without any prior knowledge or prior invitation for which he declined not to attend, that isn't fair. Because when we do so, we will now become a society where people will have the fear, they'll be petrified, they will not want to get themselves involved into politics or into public service, okay? So if we want to avoid that, then we must build a society where even if the person is wrong, assuming without admitting that he's super wrong, he's involved in illegal mining, he's destroying our water bodies, he's doing everything. So we want him to come and answer. I think the approach can be a little bit different. But if it is about precedent as to what others did to our folks, therefore we are going on the same path to apprehend your people or bring them for questioning, then we are creating a political culture which is not worth emulating. So what do we have to do? We must first deploy all machineries in terms of using reasonable means. If those reasonable means doesn't work out, then we can go with force. I'm not supporting Wontumi because I have followed Wontumi and I've seen him demonstrate extreme bravado, challenging government. You see, sometimes God can have a simple way of humbling you. When you are in power and you have become obsessed with power and you think that there is no way a candidate could ever win power, so you can antagonize him, you can dare him, you can challenge him, you understand? You can make them look like they are a group of non-entities. When they get the opportunity, they will show you where the power lies. And it is the same fairness.
So that is paying back the
because
of Wontumi.
Of course, because you see,
but it's necessary.
That's why my brother said that his actions and his own pronouncements and the way he has been brandishing gold on live television and all these things, nobody is saying that don't do that. If you are getting it from legitimate means, okay? Even Ashanti Gold, they don't come and do that. But what I'm trying to say to you that if you are challenging the authorities of the state, to suggest that you have gotten to a stage where you are above reproach, you are above any apprehension, you are above any accountability to anybody. When you get the power, what will you do to such a person? You must bring him to order and let him know that the state is bigger than you. Okay? So Wontumi is being told today, right in the face, that the country called Ghana is bigger than any individual. So, if upon his own admission that yes, he has been invited, so he came to the CID office. Now he's supposed to reappear again there. He went there, and then another security agency picked him up. I would have wished that the other security agency, for whatever reason they wanted Wontumi, they should have also put it in the public domain. So that we all know that prior to this,
the CID
invitation, Iyoko also had an issue with him. Okay, so that it becomes public knowledge, so that for whatever reason you are apprehending him, the public will not now be conjecturing and be speculating, okay? But in the case of where either marksmen or unmarksmen, I don't know when we start to introduce marks. We are not in a Sahel territory, okay? We are not in Afghanistan, we are not in Pakistan, we are not in all these places, we are not in Mali, we are not in all these Sahel states. Therefore, if you are doing something right and you want to apprehend somebody, the people who want to apprehend should go with their plain faces. We should know them. What prevents you from wearing a mufti or even wearing a police uniform, but you go mask yourself? What kind of regime are we in? Okay, what kind of regime are we in? So all I'm talking about is intelligence and demonstrating to the world that we are a group of people who are civilized and we know how to do things, demonstrating high level of civility and integrity. But if you go apprehending people with masks, who knows who is going to be apprehended tomorrow? And if somebody come and apprehend wearing masks and they tell you from their Iyoko and they are not able to prove anything to you that these are Iyoko staffs, what about if they start picking people from their homes? Okay, so all I'm saying is that we should just do things in a way and manner that will demonstrate civility.
Okay.
That is all I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right, many thanks, Richard. You can also join us and share your thought with us. And your messages, you can send them to our WhatsApp line. Is active. You can also send it to Facebook. We're streaming live over there. We're taking a look at the Wontumi arrest yesterday. And this segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, phones, Papa Pie. If you do well and speak to them or walk into any of their branches here in Accra and across the country and make a purchase from there. If you need to buy any home appliance, is the place that you have to buy it from. We'll be joined by Kwesi Bochi Esquire this morning. He's a National Communications team member for the NPP. Kwesi, how is it going?
So far, so good. Good morning to you.
All is well?
You look good in your bespoke suit.
I try.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice suit.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Anyway, yesterday on Newsnight, Lawyer Kebu spoke about this very issue. In fact, he said that this arrest has been long overdue. Remember that he's part of one of the people who actually sent, Wontumi's case for him to be interrogated and all of that. But he believes that there's nothing wrong with it. It should have been done a long time ago, and he's happy that we've seen this happening. The style of arrest, you guys have problem with it. In fact, Henry spoke about it yesterday vehemently and decided that it's one of the worst things that have happened under this regime.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, KMJ. Good morning to my senior colleagues. It's been a while I saw Movement for Change. And good morning to my brother. KMJ, you see, the NPP has said times without number that as a political party, we are not against the lawful investigation of any former appointee or any person affiliated to the New Patriotic Party. We are not against it. In fact, we have said that we are willing to cooperate with any state institution that may want to investigate any person affiliated or who worked under the former administration. And so the MPP is not against the investigation or arrest of anybody. But what the MPP is against is the unlawful and illegal arrest and detention of persons supposed or purported to be affiliated to the New Patriotic Party. See, what happened yesterday, in my humble and respective opinion, I think it was avoidable.
And illegal, as you put it?
Unnecessary.
How is it illegal?
It was not proper. You see,
the institution did not have that power to arrest.
The laws on arrest is very clear. You look at Act 30, I think Section 3 talks about how arrest should be made. Come to Section 10. I mean, the types of arrest we have basically two types of arrest: the arrest with a warrant, arrest without a warrant. The law is clear on how a police officer can arrest without warrant on two major grounds. That one, when you see a person committing a crime in your presence, or secondly, I think when the police officer has reasonable suspicion to believe that a crime has been committed or is about to be committed. The police has every right under law to arrest you without a warrant. In the case of Wontumi, we are all aware, like you clearly said, Wontumi handed an invitation by the Criminal Investigative Department of the Police Service to answer questions about supposed
illegal activities,
illegal mining. Exactly. Subsequently, he was granted bail. The following day, he came in to, fulfill his bail conditions here at 3 p.m., right after he finished. I mean, while he was going to sit in his car, officials of Yoko ambushed him, just picked him up in a white pickup with sirens, and then they sped off to Yoko. I think that Wontumi is a person of, good standing in society. Wontumi is not somebody that when you invite, he would not come. In fact, he has demonstrated good faith by honoring the invitation of the CID. And so if Yoko meant well, and Yoko didn't have, any malicious intent against Wontumi, they would have used the same procedure to invite Wontumi right to him. You will come with his lawyers prepared. You don't need this cosmetic, kind of arrest. It is unnecessary, especially when it is targeted at your major political opponent. You You see, this morning I have a very simple message for the respected Raymond Acha. He should tread cautiously. You see, his term of office is coterminous to that of President Mahama. President Mahama has only 4 years in office. Raymond Acha should take his time and tread cautiously. People have occupied his position before. He shouldn't be used as a tool to witch hunt, intimidate, and silence political opponent or silence. I mean, he's done it to his own colleague. He did it to Edu Boahen. Everybody was quiet. Edu Boahen was arrested like a common criminal at the Kotoka International Airport, handcuffed in the full glare of the public, embarrassed, and we were all quiet. Today it is Wontumi. Tomorrow it may be KMJ. Tomorrow it may be Kwesi Boche. Tomorrow it may be Movement for Change or any other person. You see, what is wrong is wrong. What is wrong is wrong.
But they have defended this style of arrest separately. They believe that there's nothing unlawful.
There is everything unlawful with it. I've just quoted the law to you. You see, the law is very clear. What happened yesterday, I do not know the offense Wontumi committed at the premises of the police headquarters to warrant the arrest by Yoko. I mean, it is true that several state law enforcement agencies can investigate the same person for different, crimes or offenses. But the mode of arrest, like you asked, in my humble opinion, I think was wrong. And they could have done. But you see, it looks as if Yoko is becoming very notorious for abusing raw power. And that is why I have cautioned the respected Raymond Acha to tread cautiously. In fact, I even believe that Yoko is a very sensitive position, that whoever was supposed to be in charge should be a person who has, a little competence and a little history or background of security or intelligence. But this is a person who I know is a professional journalist by all standards, a good one, of course, but has no competence or whatsoever when it comes to matters of security or intelligence. And so I believe it is just about some 3 weeks after, he was appointed as the substantive boss of Yoko, and so he's still in the learning process. So he should take his time and learn on the job and stop using the power Yoko has to intimidate officials of the opposition party, intimidate his own. Raymond Acha has set a very bad precedent for himself by leading the arrest of his own former Signals Bureau boss. Now he has taught us that a former security chief can be arrested and handcuffed and embarrassed in the full glare of the public.
If there's a reason to.
He has taught us.
If there's a reason for him to have done
you see,
being a former boss or,
the law is clear.
His colleague.
If you feel somebody has committed an offense, invite the person. If the person doesn't come, you have every right to even, if the person doesn't come, you, the law enforcement agency, you do not even have the right to even, arrest the person in a Rambo style. You go to the court for an arrest warrant.
But most of the instances, it is believed that they invited these individuals and they didn't issue.
Was Yoko, have you seen the
issue of Wontumi's arrest in Kumasi? We heard that he was given an invitation. The lawyer said that they didn't see any invitation.
No,
the institution insisted that.
Wontumi mentioned that he was given an invitation, but he replied to the to CID that he was unavailable on Friday, but he will come on Monday. On Monday, he handed the invitation. I've mentioned 2 instances: the arrest of Mr. Kwabena Edu Boahen and the arrest of Wontumi by EOCO. And I am saying that these 2 arrests, in my humble opinion, I do not think that, it was done properly, and it could have been done properly. And I believe that these 2 arrests signifies the abuse of raw power by Yoko. And it is clear that EOCO under this administration has the taste for being in the news, has the taste for engaging in cosmetic arrests and, packaging arrests, settings arrests. Let's put cameras on him and arrest him like a common criminal for everybody to see that we are working, but we are actually not doing anything. They arrest the person, and later you realize that it was mere intimidation and mere witch hunt. So I am only sounding a word of advice to our brother Raymond Acha, who is the head of Yoko. Because, the security agencies, they work based on instructions and orders. So whatever activity that Yoko may undertake, it must be sanctioned by their superior.
Yeah.
That is why I am admonishing him this morning that he shouldn't forget that people have occupied that same office before. His office, again, is coterminous to that of President Mahama. Crime has no expiry date. Abusing human rights of people have no expiry date. He should tread cautiously so that he doesn't become a target of the opposition. He can lawfully go by his job without necessarily abusing the power that he has, because Yoko again is becoming extremely notorious for abusing the powers they have. Wielding guns, everybody to see that, they want everybody to know that Yoko has AK-47s and all that. Is that really necessary?
Do we have any idea?
President Mahama said in opposition that the NDC has a revolutionary background. But you see, in government, when you have an overwhelming endorsement by the people of this country through an election, then it doesn't mean that this country has been willed or sold to you. It doesn't mean that you are the bona fide owner of this country. You are only steering the affairs of this country. The militarism and the revolutionarism under this regime must end. It is improper for this government to engage in militarism. We are not in the dark days. In fact, this government has the history of abduction and kidnapping. And so they should be very, very mindful and tread cautiously. They shouldn't remind
What are some of the examples you can cite for that?
Oh, their PNDC era, this government is notoriously... Yes, but PNDC, NDC came out of PNDC. NDC is the offspring of PNDC. PNDC is the main, the father.
But there's a democratic NDC now.
That is why I'm saying that they should abandon their militarism and revolutionarism background and know that they are in government to serve and govern this nation. They are not here to remind us of the dark days. Ghana is not in. Yesterday, what happened as you see people amassing at Yoko and all that.
Why should
you tell his lawyers? Your initial question. You tell his lawyers you are taking him to the hospital. His lawyers goes to the hospital.
And I'm asking, do we have any idea where he is right now?
We have no idea the whereabouts of Wontumi. We have no idea.
So you don't know where?
I don't know where Wontumi is. The party doesn't know where Wontumi is. In fact, yesterday, our general secretary even mentioned that he was not even convinced that Wontumi was at Yoko, as at the time they told him that he was at Yoko, because he didn't see him.
But the lawyer said he was there.
Later on, and you clearly said here that the lawyer admitted seeing Wontumi after 2 hours, whereby the law is clear that at the time of arrest, the person you are arresting or the suspect should be informed about his right to legal counsel or legal representation. Or Yoko is not bound by this law. You see, KMJ, what happened cannot be justified. What happened is improper. Okay. And I'm saying that today it is NDC in power. They shouldn't use their power to intimidate their political opponents, because the dice may flip. And when it flips, it may be worse. So they should tread cautiously. Especially my brother Remodacha, even though I don't know him, I've never seen him. I don't think I even want to meet him. But he should do his job very well. Nobody is saying don't do your job, but respectfully tread cautiously, because your term, sometimes the power can cloud your mind. You may think you may be there forever, but you will not be there forever. Somebody else will come for your position.
Okay.
And what you are doing may be done to you.
Yeah. Let me go to Casper now.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Listening to my good brother. But I can understand. You see, it's come from a political party that abused the money the people of this country gave them from 2017 to 2025. So when he sees the law being applied, he thinks that it's an abuse. He's singling out Remodacha to blame for this arrest, and he's telling me to tread cautiously because power is transient. Yeah. And I ask myself, these are the very people who use these bodies to destroy Remodacha's printing press. You remember the international the Trade Fair Center, 10 million worth of business. One morning, they went and brought it down. They didn't give me any prior notice. They just went there with bulldozers and brought his entire printing press down. Today, he's here talking about abuse of power. They are the very group of people who put up a national security force. The national security has never been known to have a standing force. They put up a national security force. Clouded them in marks, used them to terrorize Ghanaians during the Ayawa West by-elections. In that by-elections, an MP was assaulted, slapped. National security officials slapped an MP. He said that one was not wrong. He justified it.
Like, I have not justified it. No, I have
in June,
if it wasn't,
when you were talking to me, so you can respond to it when you are given the opportunity.
But if it wasn't good, should we continue with that?
We're not continuing. I'm just telling about how they abuse our security.
We can't do something.
That's what. No, was Wontumi arrested, slapped? Was he tortured? Last year.
Well, none of that have been reported.
Nakoyo, a breastfeeding mother, was arrested. Our MP for Senya West in Kaswa. Gregory Afoko had been in a remand prison for 10 good years when he was given bail under the MPP. After meeting his bail conditions, they re-arrested Gregory Afoko. So these are the people who have the track record of abusing the fundamental human rights of citizens. But today that is not the case. There was a time where journalists were arrested. You remember modern day Ghana journalists who were arrested. Polythene bags were used to cover their heads. They didn't even know where they were taken to. This is how you abuse the human rights of Ghanaians. Today, if Yoko has cause that Wontumi is engaging or has done something wrong and they arrest him, you are saying that they should inform Wontumi before arresting him. Is Wontumi a superior Ghanaian? Why are you using partisan colors to exonerate or make it like certain people should be treated in a certain way when it comes to criminality? Wontumi is just like any other Ghanaian. If he's involved in criminality and has to be arrested, he has to be arrested. And you are talking about how you can be arrested without a warrant. And if the crimes demand that you are arrested immediately, they'll arrest you. And later on, he was given a lawyer. So if you are saying that Ramonacha should be careful about how he's going about his activities, he's not personal vendetta. He doesn't have any cause to go about arresting his opponents. But if the law says to arrest you, you get the people to arrest you. Give the opportunity to speak to a lawyer. If the lawyer decides that he will come out and say things that has not been said to him, that is for them. Because in one breath, if you say you are giving audience, you had a conversation with your Wontumi, everything is okay, he's not well, he's taken to a hospital, and the next day you come to tell her you don't know his whereabouts. Your inconsistency will learn you out. So,
it could also be the fact that maybe where they told him they were taking him, they didn't take him there.
No, it depends because
what would the lawyer be doing, running around everywhere in Accra looking for his clients when he knows that his client was taken to this place?
Yes.
So if he goes to
my view on that, when they go, if
I can count, and in fact, I followed the video. I had someone on the ground who was giving me up-to-date videos of where they were going.
Okay.
Including Wontumi's brother.
Okay.
The third vice.
Is it about the MP looking for him or the way?
Yes, the lawyer and the team, they were looking for him, so they went to 37 military. They spoke to the officer in charge over there. He said they have no idea Wontumi's there.
Yes, because the way the MP were misbehaving.
Hospital, the same thing.
You see, people are maxing up.
They had to go back to Yoko again.
It doesn't matter. If people are maxing up to say that free Wontumi.
But that is deceit. You tell somebody's client that you're taking him here.
It's not deceit.
And he's not there.
Deceit. If after taking him to a hospital and they think that the hospital cannot treat him, they take him to a different hospital.
So you communicate with the team. You tell the officials.
No, he said you
talk to the lawyer. We took him here.
In your earlier submission,
they can't take care of him. So we're taking him here. You just don't say because you picked him up. You not give information to anybody where else you're taking him.
It's not the case that they have not been given information. Earlier on, he was told they take him to hospital.
Yes.
And he will not disclose it. Is that okay?
Yes, but of course, for security reasons.
Yes, he understands. So for security reasons, if he requires that information is given to the lawyers.
To the lawyer.
That's what I'm saying. At a point in time, if the lawyers think that the information is not supposed to be given to you, they will not give it to him.
If you're confused, they don't have to tell the lawyer.
Yes, because Wontumi, as we know, his actions. It's a character that when you are dealing with him, you have to worry of his actions.
Really?
Yes.
You want to put the human face aside and say because
it's about the law. It's about the law.
You want to keep his whereabouts.
It's about the law. It's about the law. And Wontumi is not above the law. The law is being applied.
I agree.
You understand? The law is being applied. And I'm saying that the MPP should not be complaining about these things because they did West. We have not even done close to that.
But we have to do that.
No, if the law says we should do it, we have to do it. And that is what is happening. So,
yeah, but let's do it the right way. Is that not what the situation has always been?
Point is, there's no militarism supervised by this government.
Richard, I'm going to come.
The law is the law. We are implementing the law. Iyoko has cause to arrest Wontumi. He has been arrested. The law says within 48 hours, he should be put before court. At the right time, Wontumi will be put before court. We have not gone beyond the 48 hours. Wontumi can be arrested like any other person if the security agencies think that he has to be arrested. So we should not create the impression that Wontumi is above arrest. No. Wontumi can be arrested, and that's why he was arrested. At the right time, the charges and whatever the Iyoko thinks that he has done wrong, they'll put it out. Api Akubi says they've also received a rate from Exim Bank. You understand? So Wontumi, as I said earlier on, per his actions, he has offended the law in so many ways. So when Richie says Iyoko should have informed the entire country about what he has done, it cannot be the case. KMG, are you saying that, if God forbid, if I commit a crime, the security agents should come and announce to the whole world I've committed a crime before they arrest me? Is that what we are saying?
Well, if you're a person of interest...
Well, who is a person of interest?
Yes, right now.
Who is a person of interest? I don't understand what you mean. What is a person of interest?
Because of his political affiliation.
That one.
A lot of people, just like it happened at the forecourt of Iyoko.
Yes.
Almost every member.
You see, we are trying to use
political parties found themselves there.
I agree.
So you think that it won't be fair if you decide that you want to tell the public why you've arrested him?
You, the media, and every Ghanaian who appreciates our democracy must tell the politician that they're not above the law. If a politician commits good, so why are you saying that because party functionaries are maxing at Iyoko, if you are going to arrest him, he should be treated in a special way? He cannot be treated in a special way. When he Wontumi sits on radio,
so you could
he sits on Wontumi TV.
Statement on why they've arrested
I'm sure at the right time they will speak to the media on it. But so far,
that's what I'm saying.
So far, no law has been broken. We're still within the 48 hours. Iyoko has the right to arrest him, and that is what they are doing. At the right time, they will brief the entire country about it. But point has to be made that Raymond Acha is not being using different set of laws to run Iyoko. So nobody should tell him that power is transient. He knows power is transient, and he's acting in accordance with the law. If you think that he has violated the law in any way, go to court. But for now, Wontumi shows that he's somebody that the state must be interested in because of how he and his contemporaries have destroyed our water bodies. It's criminal. The Catholic Bishops' Conference is calling for his prosecution. The Media Coalition against Galamsey is calling for his prosecution. Friends of the Earth are calling for his prosecution. So if Ghanaians are saying they should be prosecuted and Iyoko is acting on it, why are we saying they should not be acting on it because he's just the chairman of the MPP in the Central Region? That cannot be the case.
Okay.
We are resetting this country. The right things to be done. Them the consequences or them what the MPP thinks about it. Because when Ghanaians gave us the overwhelming mandate, they didn't ask us to come and repeat what the MPP did. That is why he was not hooded and taken to an obscure place. He was taken to what? Iyoko. Everyone knows where Iyoko is. And the immediately he was taken to Iyoko. As for his hospitalization and where he's taken to, they will address it at the right time. But the right things are supposed to be done. There's no militarization. Law is being used here. President Dramani Mahama is resetting this country in line with his mandate that governance will be good, the constitution will be used to run this country. People who are on the other side of the law will be dealt with, irrespective of their political affiliation. And we're doing this as telling our own NDC that if you're involved in Galamsey, we're going to come at you. So this is not only for the MPP. If an NDC functionary is involved, yes, if an NDC functionary is involved in Galamsey, he's going to come at you because he is committed. The political will is there to make sure that this wicked problem of Galamsey, destroying our water bodies, is what? Eliminated from our space.
Okay, many thanks, Casper. Let me go to Richard. I'll be getting some of your messages, so please keep sending them in a couple of minutes.
KMJ, I still sincerely want to maintain my position on this matter, that NPP too, all of a sudden, cannot become crying babies and crying foul over everything that perhaps NDC is doing to them now. I spoke about political culture. Politics is part of life, it's part of our society. And it is not everybody who actively participates in politics, okay? So, if you look at Western democracy, where we try to normally put ourselves with USA on a scale of balance. They have FBI, they have CIA. You see, economic and organized crime unit of the security architecture of this country must be dependent strictly on intelligence. and doing things that will demonstrate intelligence. Nobody is saying that don't go after Wontumi if Wontumi has done wrong. And like I said, Wontumi, to the seeds he has sown by himself and the works he has done and the public perception about some of the things he has done is what is triggering all these things today. But like we said, he is a person of interest. And chaos can erupt, okay, by just going after a political figure and the entire political architecture will want to mass around him. Okay? It can also lead to another form of what? Chaos. So all we are saying is that if, for instance, Yoko wants to have questions for Wontumi to answer, they can first declare the first option, okay, because you must be invited. That is the first approach. When you fail to respond to the invitation, then the second approach what comes in. In as much as lawyer is trying to interpret the means of which you can arrest a person, Wontumi, like I said, the things he has been involved in, they are public knowledge. Okay? He didn't just go and murder somebody. He didn't just go and do this. And we are talking about political operators. So even if you have any case against him, you must declare means that will be what? Be in conformity of how we want to build that political culture. Because like they are all saying among themselves, tomorrow it could be the coins will flip. Okay? And then they got, and that's what I say, and this MPP is trying to become crying babies because they did worse. They have also arrested people Rambo style. They did all that happened in Ayawaso was, you know, they did things that didn't sit well with the Ghanaian society. But at least we've been able to walk away from it. NDC is in power now. They also are using their own approach. But it is the same in nature. The similarities are the same. That we give no damn to anybody. Which is what we want, is what we are strictly going to do. So we are still advocates for change. We are still pleading with the political society that we should know how to treat each other so that when we are doing so, it doesn't become like a witch hunting or a vendetta or a vindictive society. So when you do me, when I get the opportunity, I'll equally what? Do you same? That is the culture we are building, which we are still saying that we need to move away from it. So the issue of Wontumi not being arrested because he's nobody, he's a politician, he's nobody, he can be arrested and blah, blah, blah. Today, you know, my brother, they are at the good side of the boot.
But Richard, do you still insist that the Yoko should come out with a press statement?
Yeah, we should. You see, when you accuse me, when you accuse me of something, and you arrest me for something, and you detain me for something, at least let me know, let the entire public know, because it is a democracy we are practicing. NDC is operating on behalf of the people. Okay? We made them who they are. Are we not 30-something million people? How many people voted for them to become the president of the republic? It's about 6 million. We made them who they are. We gave them the mandate. We gave them the power to represent us. So all we are saying is that for whatever reason, that any citizen of the state is being accused of any crime or anything in that capacity, okay, as a regional chairman of the party, of a big political party like NPP, let us just know so that the assumptions and all these things will be laid to rest. That's what we are saying. Okay. So we are still advocating that the political culture that we are practicing of vindictiveness and vendetta and repaying each other back, it is not good. We cannot bequeath that to the next generation.
KMJ, right. It's only fair you allow me to.
Yeah, but I'm going to come back
respectfully.
To you.
No, you let me just respond quickly before you go.
No, but it has to be quick because quickly. I need to read some messages from our
people as well. You see, colleague makes the point that Raymond Archer's press, facility was destroyed by the MPP, and then he comes back to say that Raymond Archer is not on a journey of personal vendetta. He is on a journey of personal vendetta. If you are saying that his press, facility was destroyed by the Eswal administration, and for that reason he remains bitter, then it means that whatever Raymond Archer is doing with his office is he's on a journey of personal vendetta and using his office to settle personal scores. Again, he says the law is the law. The law is the law. Meanwhile, he refuses to mention the exact law for which, you know, Yoko based their arrest of Wontumi on. I have referred to you section 10.
But those conversations were had with the lawyer.
I have referred.
The lawyer mentioned a few of that.
No, you see, he creates the picture as if he says Wontumi is not a special human being. Nobody has said Wontumi is a special person. What we are saying is that arrest the person in accordance with the law. Let the laws of this country prevail. But you see, sometimes when you are in power, the presence of mind sometimes eludes you, and you seek to justify everything or any action that the government is involved in. All what we are saying is that the laws should work. My colleague goes on and came there, I was expecting you to call him to order when he said, when you asked him that why, I said that Wontumi's lawyers were not informed when they were, you know, changing hospitals and what have you. And then he said, Yoko can decide not to inform his lawyers. Please, the right to counsel is a constitutional provision. Yoko cannot decide that.
But I challenge him on.
Yes, but it's a constitutional provision. It's a don't supply laws.
Was he denied a lawyer?
Please write your point.
Was he denied a lawyer? He wasn't denied access to a lawyer. So you can't say that he was denied access.
It took a while before. In fact, Henry...
he was not denied access to a lawyer, so you can't say that I had to a lawyer.
Henry and a few others were there about 2 hours or so.
That's not what
the lawyer was able to say.
KMG, that's not what
Did Henry say he was a lawyer that didn't engage him? Henry did not say he's a lawyer to him.
KMG, that's not what I'm even talking about. He makes the point directly that Yoko can decide not to inform Wontumi's lawyers of the hospital they are taking Wontumi.
No, I said they've informed him.
That is what you said.
You understand?
So you said they did, and I said the change of hospital.
And then you said they can decide not to inform him.
And then he said, well, they can decide that they won't tell him.
That is not grounded in any law.
If you're communicating with a lawyer and he said, okay, I am taking him here, and the lawyer goes there and it's not there, and you've taken him elsewhere,
you even
why didn't you tell the lawyer that?
You see, and it's the expression of bad faith, and so there is no law in this country.
I'll come to you.
Yes, I'll make
KMJ, respectfully, there is no law in this country that states that the choice or the right to legal counsel can be varied. It is an absolute right. It cannot be varied. And so let us not say that Yoko can decide to inform Wontumi's lawyers of his whereabouts or what. In fact, the lawyer can decide to stay with Wontumi 24/7, and Yoko must allow that, because it is a constitutional right of the accused person or the suspect in question. You see, my colleague mentions that Wontumi has offended the law in so many ways. It is not within his purview or mandate or domain to determine whether or not Wontumi has offended the law in so many ways. It is the sole discretion of the court and the sole jurisdiction of the court to determine whether or not a person has offended the law. Even the law enforcement agencies, they do not determine whether or not a person has offended the law. What they determine is that maybe they have reasonable evidence and suspicion that you have offended the law, and so they take you to court for the court to establish whether or not indeed you have offended the law. And so sometimes when we are speaking, let us tread cautiously again. And this time around, the tread cautiously goes to you. It goes to you because power is transient. Take your time. Take your time, and let's tread cautiously and don't speak as if the world belongs to you, to say that you don't give a damn about what happens to the consequences of what your government does and what. Let's take our time. Let's take our time. It's a nation we are building. If yesterday MPP did it and it was wrong and we all condemned it, it doesn't mean that NDC should repeat it today. We didn't vote for NDC to repeat the mistakes of President Akufo-Addo.
Okay, let me read some few messages and then I'll come back to you, gentlemen. Now, this one says, good morning, KMJ. This Rumble style and showmanship by the NDC is a threat to our democracy and also just laughable. They are setting a precedent and will surely be reciprocated now by the next non-NDC government. Ike in Kufredia sent in that. Let me go to Musa Abato in Yasuwasin, who says, the rarest of the loudmouth Chairman Wontumi is welcome news. The destruction of our water bodies and the Etuwa Forest Reserve by our Akonta Mine and owned by the controversial Chairman Wontumi was nothing short of criminal. No one should be above the law, and it's high time the laws of this country are enforced without fear or favor. The law must work, and the law is working. All right, let me go to this one over here. It says, good morning, Joy Prime. Why are we always trying to be hypocrites in this country? Were we not in this country when Wontumi was always bragging about his wealth and showing golds on live TV stations? This Wontumi guy was destroying our water bodies for his personal selfish interest. Today, we are behaving as if Wontumi has not done anything wrong. Our behavior towards people like Wontumi and the way some people are supporting him will embolden some other people to engage in similar criminalities. Wontumi is not above the law. All right, let me go to this one over here. And it says that some people above the law in Ghana, I saw a female slap a police officer and he is walking free. Wontumi is arrested and people are saying Yoko did wrong. It's NPP becoming a lawless group of people. Patrick in Accra sent in that. Let me go to this one over here and it says, hi KMJ, good morning. The NPP crying, they did more than what NDC is doing. By the way, you chop government money, you have to vomit it. Abra in Takra is sent in that one. This one over here says, good morning. I'm Haj from Yendi. I personally think that the arrest of Wontumi is persecution just because he belongs to the NPP. The president is seen on official trips using his kid's brother's private jet. If this was under the NPP regime, people like Ablakwa and Jampo running all over the media houses making noise about it. Was that the reset they promised? If they think Wontumi did something wrong, they are why are they not arranging him before the courts? This political persecution will not help anybody. And just by relation to that, yesterday I listened to almost about 10 minutes audio of Ibrahim Ahmad, the president's brother, speak about how he became rich even way before his brother decided that he wants to go into politics. And some of the things that he said and advice that he was giving to young people about, making money and doing business and all that. Well, just by the way. Now, KMJ, I want to know whether Wontumi is bigger than lawyer Chachu Chikata, who was picked in the church in the same Rambo style. What a hypocrisy in your studio. Let me go to Teacher Kojo. And it says that in Ghana's democracy, everyone in power is right, but in opposition, everyone is wrong. Do me, I do you will never end in our democratic practice. NDC, it is your turn. Do whatever you like to the NPP members, but be sure that the NPP will vent the same spleen on your members when they take over power from you. Greetings to Mr. Owusu Bempa, the Ishiasu constituency chairman. Okay, let me go to this one over here, which says, KMJ, good morning. Why is it that when NPP is in power, nobody condemned such action of Yoko, but immediately when NDC is in power, they did the same thing. Everybody jumping in to condemn the action. Oh, Ghana by Kofi in a flow. All right, let me go to this one over here, and it says, good morning, KMJ. With how the NPP has positioned itself to resist the arrest of its members and friends tells we have a long way to go, because I foresee a lot more of them being brought to book for questioning in one way or the other. The NDC in opposition hinted to do so to claim all loots and arrested the country, and therefore the NPP should not be surprised, but rather cooperate for these individuals to go through a questioning and interrogation to either find them guilty or not. Now, it's for the individuals' own good to clear their innocence of allegations leveled against them. What is worrying is when we don't know what one is being arrested for, and therefore should not jump into conclusion to say it's politically motivated. I hope the NDC is not only doing this to the former appointees, but will look among themselves if there are such cases or individuals and deal with them too. Stephen Nopoku in Sake Michelle Camp. Let me go to Master Rahman. And it says that, KMJ, please tell the Movement for Change man to stop being hypocritical. Marksmen do not start in this area. It started under Nana Addo at Ayawaso. If KMJ did nothing wrong, no one would come after him. If you did something wrong under your government, then get prepared, because you will be next, Mr. MPP man. Okay, let me go to this one. It says, good morning, KFJ. All right, many of you, just go ahead and any name is fine. Please please tell the NPP communicator to eat humble pie. We are in the same country. Nanado arrested one media person, 37 in a year. You kept quiet. Please, NPP communicator, give us a break. All right. So you didn't add your name to it. I wanted to mention your name just like you did to mine, but you didn't add. So Mesa Majid is from Meche, Toronto. I wonder why NPP communicators and their foot soldiers are lamenting on the arrest of Wontumi by Yoko. They want him to assist them in investigation. Seriously, NPP foot soldiers and their communicators are just funny. They have forgotten that Honorable St. George was slapped publicly. Honorable Dafiamoko was arrested in Rambo style. And yesterday he mentioned that on News Night, Jachukwe Sin was intimidated in this same country. They shamelessly demolished Mustafa Bande's house reasonably. Atu Forsen was also intimidated under the previous government. Where were these hypocrites defending Wontumi today? And people always think they are superhumans. This is just beginning. All corrupt and criminal servants under the previous government will be arrested. Their caps are full. My regards to Honorable Charles Akwesi, a CDU MP for Tama South Constituency. This one over here says, good morning. KMJ, thanks for your good work. Keep it up. Thank you. Please kindly let the NDC guy know that during President Mills' era, Charles Wekuprobe, Kwame Mpieni, Samoa Boateng, and co were arrested in Rambo style. So what is he talking about? Anyway, the power changes and this will continue. That's from Kwaku Bako Jr. Manson sending in that one. Another one over here says, good morning, KMJ. Thanks for your good work. Okay, I think I've read that. Let me go to this. Probably the last one for now. I'll come back and do some more. Good morning, Mr. Host. The question I want to ask is that, is there any galamsey ongoing or not? Is there peace in Boko or not? Please, if we have this kind of security people and people of Boko are suffering, why can't we send out these personnel there to bring peace to the area? The whole thing is just jealous about the gentleman. They should start preparing themselves as NDC, the next government they ran from this country. The issue of Boko has to do with mediation and not really the force of military men and all of that. I'm sure if the authorities could actually do that, they would have done that long ago. And that's the reason why people like Otunfo or Seyitu II are stepping in to mediate so that we don't use, force or violence for violence, because if you're not careful and you don't deal with that issue very well and you resort to violence or maybe the use of military to go and do whatever they want to do over there, it might take a different turn. And so, yes, let's see how the mediation goes.
KMG, Butcher says I did not mention any law to back the arrest. Yes, he has every right to quote the law. But I'm sure he knows very well that the interpretation of the law does not...
You want to believe that because he's a lawyer and that's...
No, but the interpretation of the law does not lie in his bosom too. He doesn't lie, he's not interpreting the law.
In my bosom, I haven't searched it.
Good. So your interpretation is subject to the court. Yes. But the law is not about quoting it, it's about the interpretation of the law. And I'm saying that the law you quoted, interpreting it right or wrong doesn't lie in your mouth.
I'm not interpreting
go to the court.
It is clear. It is in plain language, senior.
So you can interpret it. You have the right to interpret it.
No, the law is clear.
It's clear, but we go to court for interpretation.
Even the rules of interpretation suggest that where the law is clear, you do not even need an interpretation.
You can interpret it.
Beyond that.
No, but the law arrest is clear.
I'm saying that it doesn't lie in his bosom to interpret the law.
Attorney General is so a litany of cases. So the law arrest is clear.
There's no law has been violating the arrest of Wontumi. You can be arrested with a warrant or arrested without a warrant if the arresting.
But there are some political lawyers, political laws directors that have spoken about this. I mean, there are experts that have spoken about this.
I mean, the law, different perspectives. There have always been different perspectives.
Would you want to read the law? Would you want to read the law?
No, for reference, why not?
This is section 10. You can read the law.
I am not talking about you reading the law. KMG is not an authority to interpret this law. No, it is KMG is not it's not an authority to interpret the law. No. When this country, when they interpret a law that the best said has no show proof of citizenship. So what he is going to read doesn't mean that that's the interpretation of the law.
Well, Casper, let me just do this, and then maybe we'll all understand the angle of where he's coming from. Now, he says that it's arrest without warrant, and that's section 10. It says arrest by police officer without warrant. And it says a police officer may arrest without warrant any person who commits an offense in his presence, obstructs a police officer in the execution of his duty, has escaped or attempt to escape from lawful custody, has in his possession and any implement adapted or intended for use in unlawfully entering and who gives a reasonable excuse for his possession of it, or has in his possession anything which may reasonably be suspected to be stolen property. Officer may arrest without a warrant any person who suspects upon reasonable grounds of having committed an offense, of being about to commit an offense where there is no other practicable way of commission of offense, of being about to commit an offense where he finds such person in any highway, yard, building, place during the night. Now, it goes on.
So where does
Wontumi said?
It says that
So what's your
on arrest
about
with
this?
warrant and
Right.
approval.
Yes.
Now, beyond some of these conversations, we go to court for interpretation.
Yes.
The Yoko arrest is a special case, if you want to put it that way, because
How special?
No, because of the kind of institution. Just like the NIB.
No, but you see,
cancel.
Before you land, before you land, I'll let you land respectfully.
Cancel. We've seen the Attorney General mention some of these issues several.
Right.
We've had interpretations of these things very. It's not like the first time we're getting to know these cases, right? Certain institutions like the NIB, Yoko, and all of the Shraj and all of these people, one way or the other, may do certain arrest, you and I. If we sit here and we want to go and argue, we will not find ourselves arguing anyway out of that condition, right? And that is what I'm sure Casper is referencing.
Forget about voting. Forget about voting.
This is
law to make a case as
understand this
politics
is the
aside,
law.
for the purposes of our viewers, you see, what you just said, that BNI Yoko can arrest or can make some arrests that we may not even be aware. The law is clear on that. That where the police has the intelligence that somebody is about to commit a crime, or they have reasonable suspicion that
they have committed.
Good, reasonable suspicion.
That they have committed the crime.
Or they are about to commit a crime. They can arrest.
In their presence. That one, you can arrest them without a warrant. But you see, in this country, NIB, Yoko, or the law enforcement agencies, it is only the police that can effect an arrest. The court has decided on that. And that is why when Yoko is going to effect an arrest or going for any operation, you find police officers within, because Yoko as an agency really does not have the powers to really arrest. Act 30 is clear. Act 30 is the Criminal Procedure Act. It is clear on how criminal prosecutions and the procedure, should be followed. So it is clear that the police can arrest you without a warrant if they feel you are about to commit a crime or you have committed a crime in their presence. In the case of Wontumi, did he commit a crime in the presence of the police? Or was he about to commit a crime in the presence of the police? No.
But you also mentioned intelligence, that if they have cause to arrest you, because they have an intelligence that you have done something wrong.
In their presence.
In their presence.
Or you are about to do something wrong. If you are about to do something wrong, you need not be in their presence. That way they can just come here and arrest Kwesi Boche. We have reasonable suspicion that tomorrow you want to kill somebody. So I have come to arrest you.
So you still say that this arrest that was done yesterday was unlawful?
Respectfully.
KMG, the reason suspicion does not lie in his mouth.
It's my
opinion. No, of the investigative agency. You don't know what they know.
So and that's what I make reference to.
Yes, so he should stop arrogating that he's an authority.
Tell us what they know. You speak for the government. Tell us what they know.
We will tell you at the right time.
No, tell us now. We want to know. Tell us now.
No, the Lord does not tell you. The Lord does not say we should tell you after arresting you. We go to court within 48 hours to tell the court why we are arresting you. We will go to court. He says...
Dubai was arrested for 5 days without taking him to court.
You see, once again, like most of your texts have proven, the MPP has no moral right. We're talking about these things, so. And he said, Wontumi has not done anything wrong. Let the court prove it. I'm sure Mati people would have taught him. And he and the media coalition against Galamsey have been calling for his prosecution. So he doesn't know.
Well, he's one of the people who
started
this whole...
He should not tell me that. How did I come to a conclusion that he has offended the law in so many ways? The Catholic Bishops' Conference, who is acting for his prosecution, I'm not sure they are lawyers. So the Ghanaians who are calling for Wontumi's prosecution, they know what Wontumi has done to us. Yes, we are going to court, and the court will take a decision on it. But we live in Ghana. We know how he has destroyed our water bodies. We know how his contact mining is in Tano and Nimre forest, destroying our forest reserves. It doesn't like the MPP's mouth. So once again, the law will work. Raymond Archer did not go to destroy Wontumi's properties. If Raymond Archer is going to go on a vendetta, by now we would have heard that Wontumi's properties were destroyed. It's maybe Wontumi TV, Wontumi radio have been shut down. But he's not on that. They have only arrested him to question him on certain things that they have cause to believe that they are not in line with our laws. at the right time, if he's supposed to be free, they will free. They're supposed to put him before the court, they'll put him before court. So Raymond Oncha is not a person of vendetta. And if he's supposed to be a person of vendetta, MPP will not like what they will experience because they did worse things. That is why they should not even be talking.
Okay. We need to move on to the next.
Yeah, we are not getting there. We are not going there. We are not going there.
I want to let the tester know that we are not hypocrites. Nobody,
Justice for
absolutely nobody, is supporting the activities of Wontumi. Wontumi, like I said, because of his own activities, warrants this sort of what? Arrest and investigation and possible prosecution. Now, all we are saying is that if we want to transform society, build the Ghana that we all want, you see the NPP and NDC, they are still having this banter of you are right, I am right. You are wrong today, I was wrong yesterday. So still, when we get opportunity, we also come and demonstrate to you that power is actually what? Transient. All we are saying is that Wontumi is wrong. Wontumi has to be questioned. Wontumi has to be investigated. But when you want to apprehend him, use a more what? Reasonable approach.
Okay. All right. We need to move on to the next. You end up having only 2 minutes to deal with this.
In 10 seconds, KMJ, my brother says that so many organizations have called for the arrest and prosecution of Wontumi because he's alleged to have destroyed our water bodies. If we want to arrest Wontumi and prosecute him because, or granted without admitting that he has destroyed our water body. Last week, I was watching you in the morning. You interviewed your colleague, Erastus Asare Donko. He informed you, KMJ, that President Mohammed's national security has a concession that is mining illegally in this country. President Mohammed's national security, he informed you, KMJ. Then if this government wants to be really practicable in solving Galamsey, then it means that the national security bosses of this government should be arrested and prosecuted for engaging in Galamsey because Erastus Asare Donko told KMJ on this very show.
That's the issue.
That the national security has a Galamsey P there mining. Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
That's what Erastus said.
No, there was a concession that was taken from the people who own it.
Chinese, legitimately own it.
Yes, legitimately they own it. But then it was taken from them. And eventually...
Taken from them by
the security. Jabari was in charge of that, and it was given to him. Now, according to Erastus, he went there and questioned that why are they taking something that legitimately belongs to someone? And then they mentioned that, well, they wanted to ensure that the people do not go and mine over there again for reasons.
Doesn't mean that
but they took over the concession and were operating it.
Mining, good. National security mining in this country.
It was
national security mining in this country
to address the issue, but we didn't really finish out with him because he gave a call. Mustafa Bande called him,
admitted,
but that cannot be under the directive of the government.
No, I'm saying that national security. The chairman for the National Security Council. He's the chairman. If you look at the national security law,
you see his narrative, which is false. Some years that President Mahama's national security has commissioned a Galamsey.
I have not said that.
No, that's what you're saying.
He mentioned that the security.
I refer to KMJ. KMJ is in the studio.
I refer to national security. I've taken over a mining concession.
And they are mining.
And Erasmus says they are mining it. It doesn't mean that national security has sanctioned it.
No, but that's what Erasmus said.
It doesn't mean that national security has sanctioned it. The individual that represents the Ashanti region when it comes to national security, Jabari is the
No, but that is the individuals they are not acting on the accordance in terms of national security.
Oh no, but they are working for national.
These are individuals.
But it's a reflection of what the institution seeks to actually do.
No, it's not about the institution because the institution is not in mining.
But you haven't watched that interview, so relax.
The individual works for the institution.
Yes, but if the individual commits a crime,
so you can't
individual.
No, it is called the ultimate responsibility. We can blame them. We can blame the boss.
To me is the
Some John came to tell us that.
To me is the MVP regional chairman. Is the MVP saying that the people who are doing the Galamsey in terms of the party doing the empty. As a party. As a party. As a party. As a party.
It's not the reason why they are following him wherever he's going.
No. They are not saying that the party.
You can't detach him from the party.
Is it to say the party MPP endorsed Galamsey? Is it to say the party?
No.
Good.
It's not also saying that the president endorsing Galamsey.
So good. Why is he mentioning the president?
He mentioned national security.
Let me rephrase what I said. I said, in fact, let me reiterate, not to rephrase. I said President Mohammed's national security. And I say so because currently, if you look at the governance architecture of the NDC administration, the National Security Council is under the office of the president. Again, if you look at the National Security Act, the president is the chairman for the National Security Council, but because the president
but it's not a direct reference that the president is engaged in that.
Vice president is chairman for the police council, the president is chairman for the National Security Council, but because the president is busy and cannot run the day-to-day activities of the National Security Council or Secretariat, that is why the president appoints a coordinator. So the coordinator, if you look at the law, reports on a daily basis to the president. And in the case of Erastus Asare Donko's interview with KMG, he told KMG that the National Security has taken over the concession and it's mining. Erastus Asare Donko goes on to say that, in fact, he placed the call to the deputy director of operations at the presidency, Mustafa Gbande, who admitted that indeed national security had taken over the mine and is mining. However, he was going to investigate the matter and report back to him.
When we had him on the show, we couldn't really stay with him.
Exactly, but that does not negate the fact that the national security had taken over a mine from a legitimate owner of the mine, and it's mining. It's national security supposed to mine in this country, and so I have every right to say that President Mohammed's national security is engaged in mining according to Erastus Asare Donko.
Let's make progress. Let's make progress.
That's what is misleading here.
Let's make some progress. Let me read a few comments from.
Or is it KMJ's national security?
We'll continue with that. We still need to talk about the ECE issue. I'm not sure you guys will have enough time since you used all your time. This one is from Samim Boache, and it says that the second coming of NDC administration appears to offer nothing meaningful. They seem to focus on targeting the opposition party, and their campaign promises remain unfunded. Now, currently, the dollar exchange rate is 10 Ghana cedis. Cement cost 150 Ghana cedis. Electricity prices have increased by 14.4%. Internet bundles have risen and food prices skyrocketed. Furthermore, NDC supporters are openly engaging in Galamsey, destroying water bodies. But President Mahama taking necessary action to address these concerns and consider replacing appointees like Sam George, Akudjeto Ablakwa, and John Jonapo, who seem to be taking Ghanaians for granted. Now, power is transient. Regards to Thomas Ohineba Boache, UK branch organizer hopeful. Okay, let me go to the next one over here, and it says that, good morning, my fellow Ghanaians. I'm Dada Thick, watching you from Nigeria. So my noble country has come under a military rule by a democratically elected president. If the Ghanaian youth don't stand up now, this government will come for you, or will not shut up our mouths. The NDC will do propaganda around this issue. All right. Musa says that the rearrest of the loudmouth Chairman Wontumi is welcome news. The distraction of our water bodies and the Etua Forest Reserve by Akonta Mine, owned by the controversial Chairman Wontumi, was nothing short of criminal. No one should be above the law, and it's high time the laws of this country are enforced without fear or favor. The law must work, and the law is working. All right. Aaron Baba Kokokomi says that, good morning to you. The government should enhance its fiscal discipline. Reducing budget deficit through prudent public financial management can create a stable economic environment. Now, this administration should prioritize expenditure that yields significant returns while avoiding non-essential spending that could lead to inflationary pressures. Now, Teacher Kojo says, in Ghana's democracy, everyone in power is right, but in opposition, everyone is wrong. Do me, I do you. I will never end in our democratic practice. And you see, it is your turn. Do whatever you like to the MPP members, but be sure that the MPP will vent up that same spleen on your members when they take the power from you. All right. And Asoko Michael says, Wontumi has exhausted his human right when in government. Can you imagine that? He doesn't have a human right anymore. Another fix says, you sit there calling Akonta Mine and it's destroyed our water body. Exhausted is when he was in power. Two major rivers. I'm telling you,
you pay back when you come to government.
That's really funny. You sit there calling Akonta Mine and it's destroying our water bodies. Two major rivers in my town, Osino, are destroyed by the illegal miners. Is it Akonta Mining that's in my town? And the Cash Godwin says that, just listen to this, okay. Do we not have illegal miners in this ruling government? You sit there calling Nakota mining is destroying. Okay, I think I've done that. So that's another thing over there. Some of your messages that you sent to us on Facebook. Please do well to send us some more on Facebook, and always share the page, and share the link as well, so others can also follow the conversation. I don't know if we can do this ECG issue, but because we've got almost less than 10 minutes to do this. All right, so let's see if I can do some more message, and then we'll dedicate some more time to talk about what we've been talking about. This one over here, let me see, says, good morning, host. You meant to say, arresting in a Rambo style is no news. Reverend Osubempa was grabbed in church at gunpoint and chained to his hospital bed under NPP. Bernard Mona was snapped and detained for going on demonstration. Chikata was picked up in church and jailed for no crime by NPP. What about Mobila and Victor Salome, who were tortured to death under NPP? Even Rawlings and Prof. Mills' homes were raided by the NPP thugs. And for those who seek equity must do so with clean hands. All right, let me go to the next one over here. And it says that, good morning, Joy Prime. What is the meaning of Wontumi? Nobody can now. He is in. President Mahama once said, he was baffled when he heard the news that nobody should go to his office, that everybody will be arrested if they do. Did they remember that the time NPP is tit for tat to Isaac Yak Amitu Hohoy sent in that one? That's what we're trying to avoid, the tit for tat thing you're speaking about. Wontumi has become lawless. NPP man, your government did worse things. You picked people in churches. You guys are pretenders. Why are you crying today? I'm ashamed. We have superior Ghanaian who have the license to loot and destroy our country. Irony, hypocrisy, pretense in our democracy. Look at the CJ. She's playing tricks and her benefactors are crying foul. The law is the law. No partiality. Okay, let me go to this one over here. And it says, good morning to you. The government should enhance its fiscal discipline. Okay, I think I've done that. OPK says that regards to Amankwa Jare Isaac incoming regional organizer and all of that. And it goes on, it says that the way Mahama and NDC government are intimidating and prosecuting Chairman Wontumi, Adenta Kumi, and other NPP former appointees with Rambo-style arrest is very shameful, because we are in a democracy and not in military rule. And when power changes in 2028, it will be tit for tat and worse than what they are doing now. At the time, no pastors, chiefs, Catholic bishops, conferences, CSOs, etc. should speak against it. Regards to Mr. Samuel Osei Sarkodie, incoming NPP Eastern Regional Youth Organizer, the Honorable Titus Global, NPP National. He was also at the scene. Honorable Titus Global was at the scene yesterday, and he said his heart is bleeding. And it's very big.
Because the media is quiet.
They are trying to use it to resurrect their political career.
Because the media is quiet.
Do you know there was an assault on Latif Idrisu yesterday?
Yes.
By some
yes,
people.
he was slapped before Salam Mustafa.
Yeah.
A minute. Granted, without admitting that there was an assault on Latif.
It was live on camera.
It should be condemned.
Have you condemned?
But again, the police and the Yoko officials asked your journalists to delete all his footage.
Yes, that was also addressed.
That should also be condemned.
Of course.
That should also be vehemently condemned.
Yes, but
we are not in a military rule. We are in a democracy where the media must be allowed to work. A military officer or a police officer cannot take the mobile phone of a journalist and command him to delete all files or face severe punishment.
This didn't happen under NPP.
That cannot be proper.
Manasseh
had to leave Ghana. Manasseh had to leave Ghana for years.
If it happened under NPP,
you were chasing Manasseh around. You were chasing Manasseh around.
I don't subscribe to it happened and it didn't happen.
If it happened,
but he justified it. They didn't work and justified it.
You see, if it happened under NPP some time ago, and it was wrong, it still remains wrong. This time around, it doesn't mean it's right.
But he justified it today. Why is it not justified?
I'm only condemned.
This one says,
must everything be politics?
Wontumi has to be in court.
Must everything be NPP and DC?
No.
What is wrong?
I don't think we should be going there. KMJ, Wontumi has to be in court, and the NPP guy said that Nanado is a bad president. Robert Jackson in Cape Coast sent in that. This one says, good morning, watching live from Kwanta, OT region. My name is Masawudu Hamza Gerald Capello. In fact, fact, I felt so worried seeing a video of multimedia journalist Lateef being assaulted by NPP supporters and their leaders. What at all do the NPP think they are? Are they declaring war on the media? Talk of the devil. That's what the conversation that we spoke about briefly, and somebody also attesting to that. In fact, it was live on camera. So, yeah. Teacher Kojo Tepa says, in Ghana's democracy, everyone in power is right, but in opposition, okay, I think I've done that. Let me go to this one. It says, no one is above the law, and everyone must be held accountable through due process. If Wontumi has committed a crime, then the police, CID, and Yoko should follow the law and conduct a thorough investigation rather than resorting to unorthodox and aggressive arrest methods. Brookman, an appeal in Mataheko sent in that. This one over here says, good morning, Kem. You tell the NPP man that Yawasu security use mask where he is a criminal. That is why he's trying to defend him of them chop their money and forget Ghanaian. Now they are cooling the youth to support him with their empty stomachs. Please, my friend, the youth, go and find your daily bread. God bless you, Ghanaian youth. Okay, all right. Let me move on to this one. It says, good morning, KMJ. The NPP as a party has no moral right to complain about any Rambo-style arrest. Their own nemesis caught up with them. David Daitege Nandom sent in that one. A couple more. Good morning to you all. You look at the previous government reap what they sow. Today, under human rights lawyer people, rights was violated. Radio station was attacked by NPP members. Judiciary service was attacked in broad daylight. So they have no moral rights in terms of laws of this country. It was to dogs Wontumi is not above the laws of this country, and that's from Big J in Tamale Central. Okay, let me go to this one. It says, good morning, KMJ. Please tell the NPP man to keep quiet when this country okay, I think I've read that. Let me go here. Good morning, Joy Prime TV. Nobody should have followed Wontumi. He must be prosecuted and face the law. He has abused the laws, committed environmental genocide. Do you know the amount of money he has taken without doing the contract? No NPP members should go there because he is part of the reasons we lost a lot of votes and seats in the Ashanti region. Roads and schools say he was supposed to construct that he didn't do, but took the money. Do not follow blindly. Or if you follow him and get hurt or die, you die alone. The law is the law. Nana Kwesi Odami in any name. I'll do the last one, and maybe I'll decide on this. It says, Mr. Kwesiboche, if you feel the Yoko arrest of Wontumi is unlawful, tell Afinyo Makin to go to court. And that's Randy in Takrade. And this one over here, it says, okay, well, I've been expecting this thesis from our brother in Natondu. It says, good morning, KMJ. We have a long way to go as a country. It is becoming unbecoming of the NDC with these needless and forceful arrests. They are now operating one day, one raid, and unlawful arrest. If this continue, then it will be cynical as power is transient. Now, the arrest of Chairman Wontumi is purely political by a party who free their own corrupt officials just a few days after being handed over. KMJ, kindly watch keenly. Nothing positive will come from all these unnecessary raids. We can't count the number of raids that have occurred in the past 5 months. Now, thanks to God, the NDC man has set the tone that all that they are doing is payback, and this cycle will happen immediately. Power changes hands. I'm telling you, Wontumi will not be put before the court within 48 hours. Even Dubois was already declared as a criminal by the AG. The public court took months to send him to courts. Mr. Kampoli should know that Akonta mining is not the only alleged to be doing galamsey. If he cares to know, we were all in this country when the NDC executive government got into a first fight with an army for trying to stop galamsey, as reported by Erastus Asari and was shown on TV. Thanks very much. Nantondu coming in through with the thesis, very expected this morning here on his flash, which of course is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still phones Papa Pafi. Gentlemen, we're done for this morning. I don't know if we have 4 minutes. Okay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, 30 seconds is even too much. But you see, this government is engaged in settings and packaging. This government told us that containers had gone missing at the port and that the minister had set up a committee to investigate the matters.
Made an audit on.
I mean, we were here during that period, and I mentioned that the minister himself must be investigated. Clearly, the minister has vindicated my point that he must be investigated by saying that those containers had gone missing. In fact, the minister must be arrested.
The minority one.
The minister must be arrested for causing fear and panic. Because in a nation where 1,300 containers can fly from the port, miraculously and mysteriously can fly from the port, then it means we are not safe. It means if UKMJ import your Mercedes S-Class X600 or whatever, that very container can get lost at the port and it cannot be traced. And so the minister only engaged in publication of false news and also with intent to cause fear and panic, and therefore must be arrested and prosecuted if possible. Okay. But you see, this government should reduce the settings and packaging. The settings is becoming too much. Packaging is becoming too much. This government is behaving, I mean, as if they have nothing to do. It's behaving like a confused government. They should take their time. They should relax. I mean, they have a tenure of 4 years. They should take their time and put their things together and govern this nation. I said in snake package, adults too much.
You've done 2 minutes now.
No. I just did 35 seconds. KMJ, I was watching my clock.
It's very unfortunate that my brother is using certain words. But you see, some jokes must not be entertained. The MPP, which is like a confused party, should look at how they can restructure their party.
We are in opposition. You are in
but yes. Well, you must behave in line with our laws. You don't behave anyhow where you go to tertiary institutions and you butcher each other with cutlasses. No,
it's not true.
You understand?
We butcher each other.
So, KMG,
we don't have a revolutionary background.
Please, when you are
we don't have a revolutionary background.
We are governing this.
We don't have a revolutionary background.
Today, you just need a little over 10 cities to get $1. Before they left, it was almost 15 cities.
That was still the price of king.
Price of fuel is going down.
It's not true.
Transfer fares are being reduced.
It's not true.
Is that okay? We are running this country very well. There's dedicated faculty for free senior school. There's a Juma Rad that is going to train at least 10,000 young people. There's national apprenticeship program, 1 million coders.
So we are running is it a set? We are rehashing the settings.
We've reduced our public debt by 150 billion.
It's not true.
120 billion to 700 billion. We have reduced by 150 billion. So this country is on the course to prosperity. It's on the course to give hope. It's on the course to create opportunity for the youth of this country. The joke of arresting the minister is a joke that should be left for people who should not be on this platform. Your government lied that there were 3,000 containers during the transition process. The minister inherits the ministry. He goes there, ECG says the containers are 2,462. He puts out the committee. The committee says what they found is 1,134. He decided to escalate the investigations. Then today, we are getting to know that 2,637 are in the ports. And you are saying because of that, the minister should be arrested.
Which they think is just
it means the minister did not undertake due diligence.
No, foul play. How did you come by this information? It's a due diligence.
The minister did
the rigorous investigations led
due diligence. You are saying that the containers had gone missing when the containers had not gone missing. If due diligence inform us that the containers had gone missing, not the actual for the containers.
That's fine.
What are you talking about here? What are you talking about here?
I need to.
What are you talking about here?
No, but he's heckling me. He's heckling me.
So what is he talking about?
He should not behave like a confused political party. He should listen.
Please.
Before I quickly make my 30 seconds submission.
No, Richard, you can't do that submission. So do what you are doing right now. It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, no, okay, yeah.
So just to
the condolences again to the retired His Lordship Justice Isaac Richard Abuaji, who is also the Chancellor of the Ashanti Mamponda Houses. His pre-burial services is today.
Okay. Condolences to his family.
Okay, great. Big Chef Season 4 is happening, and on Sunday, we're all going to be watching again. The kids have got something special. Refugees is coming on Saturday at the Aviation Social Center. Family Arena is on Sundays as well, so you want to make sure you tune in and watch all the excitement that we bring you. Now, coming up, we've got trends, we've got sports. So the big interview with Rosalind Felix also coming up here on the show, and we've got Reverend in Team 4 Georgia.
Oh, Reverend Reverend is my very good friend, and he's a
I understand
distinguished
today's his
personality.
birthday as well. So yes.
So that could
KMJ, allow me wish Reverend Intim Fojo a happy birthday. In fact, he's a very good friend and a very good senior colleague. In fact, he's a fine gentleman.
Going out there racing false alarms. He's leading people about things that he doesn't know about.
To Freco Trading Enterprise.
You don't have the caliber of Reverend Intim Fojo in the party.
We don't have the caliber of Reverend Intim Fojo. We don't need a Reverend Father who will come and say and lie. When he goes to the pulpit, he's preaching great about the Bible. We don't need his type in his. We don't need his type.
The issue.
We don't need his type.
Before I realize it.
We don't need his type.
Where's the dollar?
The dollar is 10 cedis.
Yo.
And how much is Kinky?
Kinky is 5 cedis.
Newsflash was brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.